Welcome back to the Michael Batson Show. Preseason football is underway. The second game of preseason starts today, and it's the Patriots versus the Giants. Two teams, a lot of history. They played each other in multiple Super Bowls. Manning versus, Brady. But now it's going to be it's going to be Mac Jones versus Daniel Jones, and Mac Jones is not playing, and I have a problem with this because Mac Jones, even though it's preseason, Mac Jones needs to play. It's not it, and some people will be saying, well, he's already proved that he's good enough. He has. He's proved it at Alabama. He's proved it in high school. He's proved it in his first year of the NFL. He's also proved he's good enough, and he's learned the playbook. He's a smart guy. He's athletic. But why he needs to play is to get a connection with the Patriots coach that will be calling the plays for the season. Because right now, Bill Belichick has not announced the offense coordinator, or at least who will be helping Mac Jones in his ear, in his helmet every play. It could be Patricia. It could be McDonald. It could be Belichick himself. But he hasn't said anything about that. He hasn't even commented, really, about that, acting like it's not a big deal. But, I mean, it's a pretty big deal that you don't have a offense coordinator yet. So last year it was McDonald. And, I mean, they worked well together. I mean, what do you have? I mean, he didn't have a playoff appearance, but, I mean, he did a solid season, especially for rookie. And, but this year, it could be McDonald again. It could be Patricia. It could be Belichick. Either of those three, even if it's Belichick, which Jones have knew for 2 years, Belichick should still get in Mac Jones' ear tonight and have him call plays. It doesn't need to be a quarter. It doesn't need to be 4 drives. But I think 2 to 3 drives, 15 plays, if it's an interception, if it's a touchdown, just get him in. Because Mac Jones needs to have a connection and understand who's going to be in his ear, calling the plays, helping him out every play of the season. So that's my take, and I said to start Trevor Lawrence in the Hall of Fame game for different reasons. Trevor Lawrence is, he needs all the help he can get. He didn't really have a good season last year. He really had a bad season, but it was a bad team too, and he needs all experience he could get for reasons on the football field. This is just building connections. Mac Jones needs to build connections with the coaches, and it will be better to have it if he's actually playing in a game, and that will help him. So one of the biggest storylines I think right now is a QB competition, not in Carolina, but in Pittsburgh, and in Carolina it's a Baker Sam Darnold, and two guys that are similar. They're both somewhat bust, right? They're both high draft picks. A good player in college, one USC, one Oklahoma. Both kind of bust, and both trying to really have another starting position and both fighting for it. Very similar guys. Now, Trubisky, Rudolph, and Pickett are very unlike. Trubisky is a high draft pick that was a bust, but I wouldn't say it's a bust because he went to playoff games, and Trubisky wasn't better than Mahomes or Watson in that draft. So I don't say it's a bust because I think it was more of a mistake by Nagy by taking him there. If Trubisky was the third pick taken, third QB taken in the 2016 draft, I think, no one would be saying he's a bust. So that's on Nagy. So I don't think Trubisky's a bust. I mean, he just wasn't that good. So you got Trubisky, playmaker kind of, right? I mean, compared to Mason Rudolph is a game manager. A game manager that will throw 1 to 2 touchdowns, 200 to 250 yards, and will give you a good chance to beat bad teams. Trubisky is a playmaker. Athletic, he can run the ball, he has a good arm, and kind of like Baker Mayfield, but with less mistakes. A little bit like him. And people forget, on the Bears, he was really good. He led them to a playoff win, and probably a second playoff win if Cody Parkey would have made the 36-yard field goal that most kickers make. So Trubisky, Rudolph are very different. And then you Pickett, he's gonna be a rookie. People don't know much about him, right? I mean, he went to Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh isn't a very dominant football school. I mean, Dan Marino was there, but I mean, people really don't know much about him. So if you have a rookie, a game manager that's been in the league 4 years, and a high draft pick that is fighting for another starting spot. Right now, I think it should go Trubisky. And there's been multiple reports that, Rudolph's in the lead, Trubisky's in the lead, offense coordinators like Trubisky, Pickett. But Pickett, I think there's been multiple reports, and likely so that he'll be the third-string QB, whoever Trubisky or Rudolph, Mike Tomlin chooses. But Trubisky should be the QB because he's a playmaker. And as I said, he's athletic, he can run the ball, he's a good arm. And the Steelers, even though they're not thought of as being good this year, they've playmakers on the offense. They have Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and Pickens. Pickens, a good wide receiver from Georgia. Claypool, we saw him shine multiple times last year. He's a young guy. And Deontay Johnson really came out of his shell last year. He got the big contracting extension this year. He said he wanted to stay. He's going to stay, and he's going to prove it. Because he's a really good wide receiver. So Trubisky fits in because he's at least athletic, and he at least fits in with the playmaker type of these wide receivers. I mean Rudolph would be good. A game manager is good if you have a good defense and a good running back. They have a good running back, but they don't have a great defense, but they have playmakers. So if you have playmakers, you match up with Trubisky, which could be inconsistent, which isn't, amazing, but he is a playmaker. He was a playmaker in Chicago. He was a playmaker in North Carolina. And on the Bills in the preseason game, he started a game. He had 4 touchdowns versus the Bears last year in preseason. He was a playmaker then, putting it in the Bears' faces. And maybe we should have kept him a year. I don't know. But Trubisky should start because he's a playmaker. And Steelers have playmakers, along with Najee Harris. So that's my take on it. Start Trubisky. Rudolph could come back in, and Rudolph won't be mad because Rudolph had been a backup his whole NFL career. Rudolph has started a fair amount of games because Big Ben, towards the end of his career, towards the last 3 years of his career, in 21, 20, and 19, kind of started breaking down. Little injuries cost him 3 games, 4 games. So Rudolph has started, I think, 4 games in 21, I think 8 games in 20, and I think 7 and 8, 19. So he has experience, and he has experience as a backup. So put him as a backup. Trubisky has experience as QB1. So what I'm thinking is Trubisky, Rudolph, and then Pickett. Kenny Pickett. So one of the interesting divisions right now are the Browns, Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens. Steelers, you could say what you want about them. I'm thinking 8-win season. Their offense isn't that bad with a good QB. And if their defense shaped up and they had a better QB, we could be talking about a real contender right now. But they don't. They have a game manager or an inconsistent playmaker. Pick what you want, but it's not going to be a pretty show at QB, I don't think. But let's say Trubisky comes in. Trubisky will get them 8 wins, right? He'll win the bad games. He'll win a few good games. He won't win any games versus the Bills or even the Bengals that are in their league that they'll play 2 times. So the Steelers, 8 wins. They're not going to cause too much trouble in this division, but they'll be average. They'll be fighting for a wild card spot, I think, most of the season because they don't have that too hard of a schedule and they have playmakers. The Browns, I don't know what's going on there. Deshaun, he's a 6-game suspension. He could be an 8. He could be a 12. He could be out for the year. Jacoby Brissett, how much you trust him? The wide receiver core basically disintegrated, and Kareem Hunt wants a trade. So basically, all in all, they're out. Kansas Stefanski have tried. The defense is okay, but the offense have fallen apart, especially the QB. And the best 1-2 punch in the league, you think about Hunt and Chubb, the best 1-2 punch in the league. If one's gone, that makes it just a good running game. So So it's really in between Bengals and Ravens. So Ravens, I mean, Lamar Jackson is good. I mean, in lists like CBS Sports and ESPN and FS1 and all that stuff, he's a middle to bottom tier QB. So he's 9, 10, 11, and that's where you put him. He's inconsistent, but he's a good player. He won the Heisman. Yeah, he won the Heisman. So he's a good player, but they have a hard schedule, and they play their first 6 games include the Bills, Buccaneers, Patriots, and Bengals. So the Ravens have a hard schedule. Lamar Jackson is inconsistent. He can't win the big games, I don't think. Lamar Jackson, every offseason we have this talk about what he needs to improve to be a superstar. Lamar Jackson is a star, but he can't be a superstar until he learns how to correctly throw and not just run. Because they already have a running back. They have J.K. Dobbins. Lamar Jackson's a fine thrower, but they need a real QB. And imagine if Lamar Jackson could throw accurately 30 yards, and then he could also run it 40 yards down the field and break tacklers. Because we've seen him break tacklers, but we haven't really seen a dominant pass game where he really stands in there, takes a hit, and throws it down the field. But that's not who he is. He's a runner. The Ravens, I think 12-win season, fighting for the wild card, first round exit in the wild card. They're a good team. They have Dobbins. They have Marquise Brown. Their defense is fine, but Jackson just isn't enough to make me think that Ravens could do it, because in their league they have the Bengals. Steelers could be fine. In the AFC they also have the Chargers, the Raiders, the Bills, the Patriots. The list goes on and on. They have the Chiefs, and the AFC is stacked. So even if you're looking at a wild card game with Lamar Jackson, the wild card game could easily be against the Raiders, which have a good team with Devontae and Derek Carr, or it could be against the Dolphins, right? Because they're a good team, but they're not gonna be dominant here with Tua. So the AFC is so good that a wild card spot is still a really hard game. So wild card spot, maybe first round exit, nothing too special for them. And that brings us to the Bengals. The Bengals, I said in an earlier video, check that out, I did about 3 days ago. By the way, thank you for all the support on that video. Please like and subscribe this video. Tell me what you think in the comments. Bengals have a good chance of winning the whole thing, I think. Burrow in his second year went to the Super Bowl with no offense line. And let's not forget that the first year, Burrow's real rookie year, he was out, I think, 12 of the 16 games. So basically, his rookie year in 2020, he went to Super Bowl. 2021, he went to Super Bowl. No offensive line, a young team, and a coach that he knew for the first year. The defense was fine with Eli Apple and company, but Burrow carried this team. I think he had 5 touchdowns in multiple playoff games, and Burrow did that as a rookie. The offensive line was atrocious, but you know what the Bengals did? They got 2 offensive linemen that came in this year. They drafted 2 offensive linemen, and their offensive line is now top 10, top 15 in the NFL. And they also have Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, those are the only 2 that are really the future stars. Once Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp get out of their prime, it will be Jamar Chase's time and Justin Jefferson's time. No one else has proved they can be in that same category. So people are sleeping on Jamar Chase. He's going to be great. The wide receiver core is going to be great. The defense will be improved, and I think if Burrow plays up to his pretty high expectations, for me, he has high expectations, the Bengals could win the Super Bowl. Because who you take? The Bengals or or the Chargers? I mean, that's a hard one. I mean, they both have good QBs, both have good offenses. You're looking at Mixon versus Eckler. It's really just Burrow versus Herbert. I'm taking Burrow. I mean, Herbert haven't shown he could win in a playoff game yet. Burrow have. Dolphins versus Bengals. Bengals. Bills versus Bengals. Maybe Bills. But then if I say Bengals versus Chiefs, I mean, Mahomes lost Tyreek. Bengals have maybe more skill players now. Mahomes, coming off a struggling year. I'd say Bengals. I think in the AFC the Bengals are number 2. The Bills are 1. The Chiefs are 3. Chargers you could put 4 because they have Joe Burrow and they have a better offensive line. That's it. Thanks for joining me. Pretty long video today. So today we just, Matt Jones, he should be playing. They don't know the offensive coordinator. Put him in. Trubisky will get the QB spot. He's a playmaker. And they have playmakers on the outside like Claypool, Johnson, and Pickens. And we also discussed the Browns, Steelers, Bengals, Ravens, who will win that. I'm thinking Bengals, and I think they'll be a Super Bowl contender. Ravens, another 12-win season. Steelers, a wild card exit, maybe. But Ravens will go home empty this year. Watch out for the Bengals, though. They could come home with the trophy. Thank you so much. Please, please, please like and subscribe. This is Michael Batson Show. Have a great day.